Welcome to the 2017 edition of the Silverstone Classic, the big historic event at Silverstone, headlined by the FIA Masters Historic Formula 1 Championship. The headlines also the range of historic sports cars throughout the years, historic touring cars including the Super Tourers, older group Grand Prix cars as well from the 1960s. So a celebrity race for Austin A35s, but the historic Formula 4 cars return to Silverstone for the Classic for the first time in 4 seasons, and the cars are heading out onto the circuit for their opening race. 2 races this weekend to celebrate 50 years of Formula Ford racing with these cars from them before 1972, and on pole position it's Michael O'Brien. He was quickest by over a second from Callum Grant. Will Nuttall and Ben Tilley on row 2 ahead of James Hadfield and Ed Thurston. Michael Mallock, Sam Mitchell, Dan Eaglin and Ben Sims completing the top 10. It's a fantastic grid for these historic Formula Ford cars. Non-championship races this weekend at Silverstone, but a number of reserves, making it a capacity grid when we go racing. Formula Ford starting the day on all 3 days, meaning a slightly damp circuit with overnight rain here today, so drivers testing the conditions and only get to do half a green flag lap, making it a bit more difficult potentially. As we say, O'Brien and Grant going off the front row. It's a rolling start here. They come through club. These have been the stars of the championship races this year. Michael O'Brien has been on pole at every meeting, and he converted this pole into victory. You can see the size of the grid is just incredible as the cars come around club on this green flag lap. As I say, it's a rolling start for the races here at the Classic. So who's going to get the best of the jump? We can ride on board with Ben Tilley as the lights go out. So it's a better start from the outside of the front row from Callum Grant. A great start from row 3 from Ed Thurston. He noses into second place, but Michael O'Brien dives down the inside to carry on in second. But Thurston coming around the outside now as they go through the long left-hander. O'Brien just gets his nose in front. He defends as they head down into the right-handed hairpin. Down the inside for 4th on Ben Tilley. Tries Max Bartel, I think that is. We now turn through the loop and out onto the Wellington straight. Around the outside still is trying Bartel as they turn through Aintree, and they are still side by side for 4th position. In fact, it's Sam Mitchell. It's Sam Mitchell into 4th place, and Will Nuttall, who did start 3rd, is also coming past Tilley, but Tilley's late on the brakes into Brooklands, so they will run side by side through the corner. But Nuttall just about stays in front, but he slides out wide, so Ben Tilley chops up the inside and gets the place back. Board with Dan Pickett. He's coming around the outside of Brooklands. He gains 1 place as he passes Andrew Wiggins. Also trying to come around the outside of Stephen King, who has to back off because there's a spin in front of him. That was Stuart Dix. Paul McFlanagan can be our 3rd driver to take us around the circuit. He's going off to the inside of Ben Sims. Flanagan in the Alexis was owned by Sims. 2 cars running side by side there as Flanagan goes ahead, and now he's chasing the 2 cars ahead. Dan Eaglin now, we're looking up on the inside of, in towards the Beckett complex. So through Maggots they turn, Eaglin staying ahead now through Beckett and down in towards Chapel Curve. They will accelerate. Oh, the cars have gone wide there. Damage for James Hadfield, and Michael Mallock involved in that as well. So Hadfield and Mallock in trouble. They were running well. They look like they're going to be out of the race. Damage to the front of both of their cars by the looks of things. Ben Sims really late on the brakes into Stowe, and following through is Matt Wrigley. Sims has gained 2 positions. Also going down the inside of Will Nuttall, I think that was. He's run out wide and Nuttall's going to re-challenge. Here come the leaders through club though, and it is Michael O'Brien that leads a 5-car train. Gap back to Max Bartel, who runs in 6th position and leads the second group of cars. There's another gap, and Ross Drybrough is the next leader of what is a extremely long line of Formula Ford 1600s, and there is Michael Mallock. Damage to his car. The car steaming, of course, the Mallet, the only front-engine Formula Ford car. Of course, therefore the radiator out front, and if he's hit that, it looks like he has, that will burst the radiator. That will overheat the engine. He will be out of this race. You can see easy there, getting the place. He went down the inside there in towards Club. And it's all gone wrong at Brooklands. There's cars spinning left, right and centre. And Sam Mitchell's taken the lead. Ben Tilley in second, but O'Brien first and Grant all involved in that. There's more cars going around. Is there something down on the circuit? Because there are cars spinning all over the place at Brooklands. We're on board with Cormac Flanagan, who's going to be well up the order now. It's Will Nuttall ahead of him. I think O'Brien and Thurston have come through. I think in third and fourth. Max Bartel somewhere as well. Then we've got Will Nuttall and Cormac Flanagan now battling down towards Cook's Corner. Flanagan goes down the inside. He gained a place on Sims here last time. A bit damp on that inside line, but Flanagan commits. He's right in the middle of the corner though. And only now Callum Grant has rejoined, so the driver who is leading the 2017 Historic Formula 4 Championship is way down the order here at the Silverstone Classic. He's just come out ahead of the similarly livery Merlin of Daniel Pickett. Now Grant's going to be on a charge here, isn't he? This is a 20-minute race, which should equate to about 9 laps around the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, so there's plenty of time for Grant to make up places, and we know he has the speed to do it. He's already onto the cars up ahead. This is the battle for the lead though, out onto Chapel Curve. Sam Mitchell, who was a winner at the 50th anniversary meeting at Brands Hatch. Ben Tilley, who is yet to win in Historic Formula Ford, is chasing him, and he is slipstreaming for the lead here. Can Tilley get the lead down at Stowe Corner? He's got the run, he's up on the inside now as they go into the braking zone, and Ben Tilley is going to lead at the Silverstone Classic. Through he goes. Two Merlins up front change positions, and a bit further back on board with Cormac Flanagan once again, and Will Nuttall has outbraked him into Stowe Corner, and he will gain a position. Towards Vale they go. Flanagan gets a run on him, but it's only a short run down into the Vale, so Nuttall stays ahead. Meanwhile, let's ride up on Kevin Stanzel because he gets past from either side. That's Callum Grant who dives down the inside. He gains 2 places. There's also around the outside with Tiff Liddell, the TV presenter, former Formula 1 racer, British touring car driver and at Le Mans, so plenty of experience for Tiff Liddell, but he's in the mid-pack here at the Silverstone Classic in Historic Formula Fords. Back from Ross Driver now, we turn into Abbey. Ben Sims is the driver behind. He was a car that had a spin there at Brooklands as well on the last lap. He carries loads of speed through Abbey, and then through the fast left-hander at Farming into Village, Sims goes ahead. Andrew Mansell, the championship coordinator, goes down the inside of Dan Pickett. He gains a position with Mansell in a repaired car after an incident at the Brands Hatch meeting a few weeks ago. Mansell defending down to Village because Pickett is coming around the outside, but Mansell late enough on the brakes there to stay ahead. He's in the slightly older Merlin, the Mark 11 compared to the Mark 20 of Pickett, sideways through the loop there with Mansell. He carries the speed out the corner to stay ahead. Back on board for the race lead. This is Ben Tilley, and he's going to be passed because up on the inside into Cops Corner goes Sam Mitchell. So Mitchell leads once more. This is a great battle between the two of the youngest drivers in the field. Mitchell is a former champion. Ben Tilley, as I say, yet to win the race. He goes down the inside in towards Maggots and Beckett. That's a great move from Tilley to get the lead back. Damage nose cone for Dan Eaglin, the former Le Mans racer from about a decade ago. He rolled that into Brooklands as well on the previous lap. He's looking to the inside of Ross Driver, but Driver holding on for now. That's a bit wide though. The Lotus 61. Still chasing. Still change for the lead. Mitchell and O'Brien have slipstreamed past Ben Tilley in towards Stowe Corner. So the 3 Merlins still up front, but in a different order. It's Sam Mitchell that leads down towards the Vale. Michael O'Brien is chasing, and in third place is Ben Tilley. Into Club. Michael O'Brien, the local driver. The Speed Sport workshop is just to the left of the circuit here. O'Brien going to hold on to second place. Yes, he does. He's much later on the brakes in towards Abbey. Tilly was up against the inside. Not the ideal line for that corner. Meanwhile, down towards Stowe. We've got more side-by-side action as driver tries to re-challenge. And it's going past Matt Rigby. He's going to gain 2 places around the outside at Stowe corner. What a fantastic move that was. He also passes Michael Grant Peterkin in the only Brabham in the grid. Through Vale they go, and then onto Club Corner, the right-hander. It's a great battle. Back up front though, can Michael O'Brien challenge Sam Mitchell? He goes round the outside. He uses a lot of the road on the exit of Aintree, but he does get the lead. So Michael O'Brien leads at the Silverstone Classic once more. He started on pole, and now Ben Tilly passes Sam Mitchell and gets second place. So Brian, who was the quickest driver in qualifying yesterday by over a second, leads, and he started to gap Tilly, but he runs a bit wide. Meanwhile, the battle back is all going. They're all going around Ross Driver, left and right they go into Village, and Sam Binfield, very late on the brake, slides out wide. Dan Pickett turns his way through Abbey, battles all the way round the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit in historic Formula Ford. And he's going down the inside of Andrew Wiggins. He was late on the brakes there, but Wiggins is just about going to hang on. That's the Titan of Wiggins. The majority of cars in the series are Merlin. There's a great number of different manufacturers out there this weekend, including Lotus, Jomo, Titan, as we've mentioned, Ginetta, Maycorn, Crosley. We're on board with one of those. That's Kevin Stanzel, who just gets passed by Harvey Sykes, I think that is, who's in another of the Crosleys. Other manufacturers on circuit, we've got Alexis, Jamin, Cooper, Nike, Palliser, Lola, Caldwell. Absolutely fantastic. The historic Formula Ford Championship has been this year, as I say, great number of different types of cars and great racing throughout the field. Through the Beckett Sesses comes Ross Driver, and he's being chased by the reigning champion Callum Grant. Grant's on the tail of Driver, and now as they turn through Chapel Curve, he is the championship leader. As I said though, this is a non-championship scoring weekend, so no points on offer, which Callum Grant might be slightly pleased about, as he is down the order after that spin up at Brooklands on the second lap of the race. Here are the leaders though. This is O'Brien and Tilly. Mitchell's dropped into the battle with a third, who could then Thurston and Max Bartella there, so that's a free car battle. And there's a gap back to Will Nuttall, who's sixth. He's being chased by Cormac Flanagan, who's having a great performance here. There's Ben Simpson in eighth. We've got Eaglin, Grant Peterkin there, and then a whole number of cars as well. The next battle I think is being led by Robert Tusting, and the gap back to Harvey Sykes, who has Kevin Stansel and Alex Meek just behind, and Andrew Mansell as well. There's right on board with Ross Driver. He has Sam Binfield chasing after him. He's later on the break. He's going around the outside into Village. You've also got Alistair Littlewood there. Neither of them able to make a place, but Littlewood now looking to the outside of Binfield. But Binfield later on the break into the loop. He goes through. Rob Smith, you can see as well in this battle. Littlewood right on the gearbox of Driver as they turn through the flat-out left-hander at Aintree. And onto the Wellington straight. Driver will be trying to slipstream back past down Binfield here, up into the left-hander, which is Brooklands, and he's gone down the inside and back ahead of the Mark 8 Motorsport car of Binfield. The team run by Derek Buckton, and they turn in towards Luffield. Back up front, we can ride on board with Ben Tilly, and we're into traffic here, and Michael O'Brien is super brave. He goes round the outside, he's sliding out wide, but he's just about kept the car in line, and if anything he has made a bigger gap in that. So a brave move from O'Brien there to go round the outside of the back marker, caught the slower car in the worst place possible, but he dealt with that well, and has he managed to break the slipstream? He's slow out onto the hanger straight, a problem to the race leader, and Ben Tilly goes back into the lead. Sam Binfield also trying to gain a place into Beckett. Really quick through there he was, but he didn't manage to get ahead of Ross Driver. What's gone wrong for Michael O'Brien? He was the race leader, he was slow though out onto the hanger straight. Ben Tilly, looking for his first win in the category, is back up front. What a meeting to do it on if he can manage it. Meanwhile, all changed down the hanger straight because Driver has passed both Wrigley and Grant Peterkin. There are the leaders. Tilly is leading, but O'Brien is still going. He's still going in second place. So we have Ed first and third. Fourth is Max Bartel. We've lost Sam Mitchell. So into fifth is Will Nuttall. Sixth is Cormac Flanagan. In seventh is Ben Simpson. Up to eighth place. A great recovery drive from Callum Grant. In ninth is Ross Driver. He's ahead of Grant Peterkin and Wrigley. Got Littlewood behind as well. There's the gap back to Robert Tusting and Stuart Baird, I think, involved in a battle there. Kevin stands on through here ahead of Alex Meek and Andrew Mansell. Meanwhile, down into Village, Ross Driver's battle continues that we've been enjoying. He slides out wide, but I think put him on the defensive line into the loop, so he keeps ahead of Grant Peterkin, but then he slides out too wide. He's over the curve. Grant Peterkin's on the inside. They turn into Aintree, but no. Keeping his foot flat to the floor there was Driver, and he stays ahead. Out onto the Wellington straight now they go, and Matt Wrigley is challenging. Wrigley looking to the inside. Grant Peterkin trying to defend that, but Wrigley's already got his car down the inside, and he will go through, or does he get side with a big moment from Ross Driver though. He slides out wide and he loses a number of positions. Dan Pickett, we can ride on board with once more. He's in a number of the Merlins. Merlin Mod 20 is the popular car in the category. Go down the inside of one of the Titans. This time it's the car of Greg Thornton, who's racing a number of cars here this weekend. Thornton staying ahead though. He's also out in the historic Formula 1 race. He's Lotus 77, so a big range of cars for him out here. He's struggling a bit further back in the historic Formula 4. Ben Tilley checking his mirrors down towards Stoke Corner, and that's because Michael O'Brien has regained the lead. So whether the problem was a lap ago, he's figured it out and he's back on the pace. He takes the race lead once more. The driver that's also racing Sanyons this year, a totally different car to the Merlin Mark 20. He's also a winner previously in the BRDC Formula 4 Championship. Ed first and Max Bartel are chasing them, so it's a four-car battle up front now. Dan Pickett is finding himself in a whole heap of battling through the Beckett testers. He's got a run on Andrew Mansell out at Chapel, and he will get past him. Here comes Ben Sims, who's got ahead of Cormac Flanagan now, and Callum Grant there as well. So Flanagan's going to have to watch out here. Two reigning champions battling with him. Oh, big moment there for Stan Binfield, out over the very wet AstroTurf, and that chucks him sideways. He gathers it back up, and he's going to lose a lot of time because of that. There's Alex Meek, just ahead of Brent Thornton and Andrew Wiggins. There's Dan Pickett and Andrew Mansell. Here is Cormac Flanagan. He's chasing Ben Sims through Aintree. Where is Callum Grant? You'd expect him to challenge if he's close enough, but it's actually Flanagan that's got the great run down the Wellington straight. He's going down the inside of Ben Sims. Sims is later on the brakes, so does he stay ahead? Because Flanagan's still on the inside line. It's still pretty tricky through there. You can see the car moving around, and that's maybe through the last spinners earlier on. Over the curves is Flanagan through the Luffield right-hander, now out towards Woodcote, passing the old start line here at Silverstone, which was still due to historic sports car club meetings. And Flanagan is nosing ahead on Grant. Oh well, on Sims even, but Sims on the inside still. Flanagan carries a lot of speed through Cox Corner. He slides out wide, but he has got the place, it would appear. No, he hasn't, because here comes, that's a Callum Grant down the outside into Maggots, and Grant goes ahead. So we pass both Sims and Flanagan there, and we're going to have a change for the lead once more down towards Stoke Corner, because Ben Tilley, he's going around the outside. He's going to try and grab the race lead here up towards Stoke Corner, but Michael O'Brien is later on the brakes and goes back ahead. Right on the gearbox, so he's Ben Tilley, and he's immediately challenging down towards the Vale. He's on the inside, but again O'Brien carries so much more speed through the corner. He's on a bit of an awkward line for club, but he seems to have figured it out, and there's a slower car to lap as well, and Ed Burton's coming down the inside of Ben Tilley as they cross the line. Got Max Bartel behind as well, and we're right in the closing stages of this one now. Fantastic stuff. Meanwhile, a bit further back, Ben Sims has now gone down the inside of Cormac Flanagan. Is he going to slide out wide though? just a touch, but he should have that position. But Flanagan's got the speed, heading down the hill, down towards the Vale, but it's a short run to the next braking zone, so Sims able to stay ahead. They turn out of Club Corner and pass in the wing, clattering the exit curves there with Flanagan. Smith, he leads our next group of cars, which is concluded by Tiffany Dell. Tufted, Baird and Sykes, they're having a good three-way dive. And Stanzel, we've got me and Thornton Nosetel, Andrew Williams is next up. Get back to Andrew Mansell and Daniel Pickett. Ride once more on board with Cormac Flanagan, who's on the tail of Ben Sims, out of Luffield. The cars accelerate. Woodcote passing the BRDC building on the right hand side. And through, here comes Cormac Flanagan, he's got a good run out of Woodcote and he goes down the inside into Cops Corner and he gains the place. Club, more battling going on. Slack rounding off that group of cars. James Lovett, the next car through. You can also see one of the Lotuses coming through there. That's Ian Pearson's 61. Here are the leaders then. And we're going to be side by side into Stowe. We're going to be three wide because Ed Thurston's coming around the outside of both O'Brien and Tilly. O'Brien's going to hold on to the lead. Yes, he is. No, he's not. Ed Thurston's going to, or O'Brien's going to hold on to the lead, but Ed Thurston's going to grab second. He goes ahead of Tilly into the Vale. Now through the right-hander at Club Corner. Big old drift on there for Tilly. So it's O'Brien, Thurston, Tilly, Bartel, the top four as we go on to the final lap of the race, I reckon. And round the outside into Abbey Corner for Max Bartel. And he grabs third place, he's sliding through the corner, but he has got it done. That was a great move. Up at Cops, Andrew Mansell down the inside of Dan Pickett. He slides out wide, so Pickett's coming back alongside, and this has been a great tussle, hasn't it, between the two slightly different Merlins. Meanwhile, Ben Sims around the outside of Cormac Flanagan. These have also had a good tussle. They've got to lap one of the slower cars as well. They get that done though without issue. So Ben Sims back ahead of the car he used to own. It's in the hands of Cormac Flanagan this weekend. Callum Grant managed to get away from that battle between the Sims and Flanagan duo. Then a couple of slower cars coming through Club before we see the next of the vehicle which is driven by. That's Rob Smith, isn't it? He's gone to the front of this queue of cars. What's going to happen for the victory though? They turn their way in towards Brooklands. They're going to have cars to lap, and Ed Thurston slides out wide, so Max Bartel's up alongside him. The two cars run side by side as they turn through Luffield. Tilly's got the title line. He's trying to come down the inside of both of them. He should get Bartel here, but then Bartel has to run out of the corner. He's in the slip Jim and Thurston, so he's going to go back ahead of Tilly. So Ben Tilly, who has led this race on multiple occasions, now he's off the podium. And for second, Bartel's going down the inside of Thurston. Is he going to grab second position here? Yes, he is. So he's not been in a podium position all race as Bartel. He's up to second. They lap the Janetta. That's Bill Cowick sideways with Bartel. He's under pressure now, down towards Mackett. As Thurston tries to eke his way up on the inside. He can't do that. So Ben Tilly goes around the outside of him and he grabs third place back. Meanwhile, the Mansell and Pickett battle continues in towards Abbey as they start a new lap. Mansell has gone ahead. Oh, and a big moment there for Chris Sharples. He's had a spin at Club Corner. He's in the Palliser. He will rejoin though, and I think a bit sideways passing him with Julian Pearce. That's a great battle. There's a whole heap of cars in there. Meanwhile, up front, it's now a challenge for second place for Tilly on Bartel. Michael O'Brien scampered off in the distance with his battle on the final lap of the race, and through the middle comes Ed Thurston to grab second place. Tilly's still on the inside though. He's up over the grass almost in a touring car-esque line, but round the outside it's Thurston that grabs second place as they go down towards Club Corner, and Max Bartel dives down the inside as well. And now they've got traffic. It's going to be Michael O'Brien that wins here at the Silverstone Classic, but who's going to come second? It's going to be Ed Thurston. It is only his first full season of racing, and Max Bartel takes third, and Ben Tilley drops to fourth. It'll be Will Nuttall that takes fifth. A good recovery drive from Callum Grant to take sixth. But what a battle up front right to the end. Ben Sims is just going to hold off Corbin Flanagan. They've had a great dice all race long. Going to complete the top 10. Well, that looks to be Rob Smith and Michael Grant Peterkin. They've got Wrigley, Needell in that. Driver, Binsfield, Tusting. The cars coming through the club here on this, the final lap of the race. But what a way for the historic Formula Ford cars to return to the Silverstone Classics. 2013 was the last time they were here. They've entertained certainly, and right to the line there. Greg Thornton went down the inside of Andrew Wiggins. And Daniel Pickett, he's going to beat the championship chairman. He's going to beat Andrew Mansell. Let's take a look at the results then. It was 9 laps and it was a win for Michael O'Brien. His first win in historic Formula Ford of the season. He beat Ed Thurston, who had that great move going down the middle of 2 cars into Stowe on that last lap. He beat Max Bartel and Ben Tilley. Then it was Will Nuttall, Callum Grant, Ben Sims, Cormac Flanagan, Rob Smith and Michael Grant Peterkin completing the top 10. Alistair Littlewood beat Tiff Liddell. Matthew Wrigley was next, then Ross Dryber, Sam Binfield, Rob Tusting, Harvey Sykes, Stuart Baird, Kevin Stansel and Alex Meek completing the top 20. There were battles all the way through the field. You see a whole host of cars close together there. That was John Slack beating Jeff Underwood, Nick Pansisi and Matthew Sturmer. There were a few cars that finished a lap down as well. They were the best of those was Michael Richings. 47 of the 54 made it to the end. We do it all again tomorrow to start the final day of action here at the Silverstone Classic, and the grid will be decided by the results of that race. So once again, it'll be Michael O'Brien on pole.